Today I'm going to talk about the effects of concussions on the brain. I felt like this TED Talk video was super important to watch because it's something that most people don't realize, the long-term effects that concussions can have on the brain. 17 is the average number of concussions that lead to CTE. CTE is a progressive brain disease that results in long-term effects after a concussion. Dizziness is listed as the second most common symptom of a concussion. Unfortunately, dizziness doesn't really define what's going on as specifically as it needs to. The term dizziness can encompass giddiness, unsteadiness, and vertigo. So when I was a young mom and my oldest was a baby, I developed vertigo, and the doctors asked me if I had had any recent traumatic brain injuries, which I had not had, as well as I was not elderly, so they couldn't figure out why I had that happen. But what happens with vertigo is you have little rocks in your ears and they get in the wrong place. And so there's something called the Epley maneuver where you have to move your head in specific positions. Physical therapists can help you do it, but it's also on YouTube. It moves the rocks back into the part of your ear canal that help your balance and steadiness and nausea to go away after having vertigo. About 80% of concussions resolve in 7 to 14 days, and the average is 10 days. People with concussions should never return to work or physical activity sooner than 1 week following a concussion. Concussions are becoming more and more common in children. The number of ED visits related to concussions and TBIs rose 57% from 2001 to 2009, according to the CDC. Falls were the leading cause of TBIs in little kids, accounting for about 40% of all traumatic brain injuries occurring in that age group. About 300,000 TBIs occur each year as a result of sports. Females actually have higher rates of concussion than their male counterparts, which I thought was surprising. Even though concussions can happen in any sport, the most common are football, wrestling, ice hockey, basketball, field hockey, and lacrosse. I found this interesting because if females are more likely to have a concussion than males, I would expect that gymnastics or ice skating would be included in this list. Long-term effects of a concussion are rare. Only about 20% of people with concussions end up with post-concussive syndrome, and that is when you experience symptoms after 6 weeks. But the more concussions that you have, the more likely you are to have long-term effects from a concussion. You should always see a doctor within 1 to 2 days of a head injury to make sure you don't have a concussion. More and more parents and school districts are becoming aware about the risks associated with concussions. For instance, we decided not to let our boys do contact sports such as football until they reached puberty. Because our boys are both tall and thin, our oldest is 6'8", we felt like making them wait until puberty to do contact sports was a good option. It didn't completely discount them from doing football. They were able to do flag football at the YMCA, and then they waited until they were a little bit older and physically bigger in order to do contact football. But school districts are becoming more and more aware. I know our district makes us sign a understanding waiver for concussion.